Hello, everyone. I don't know what this sound was.
Don't look like a train.
Can anyone else hear this too? I don't know. Right.
Yeah, I can hear it too.
Michael, can you mute in case it's you?
What am I listening for? I'm just hearing people's voices.
Oh. We're getting some noise from somewhere. All right. Anyway, welcome to the Flux Developer Meeting. I'm just looking at the agenda doc. I didn't really update it for this meeting. So maybe let's just start with the review of the actions from last meeting. I was supposed to do some research about version docs and start discussion in the mailing list. I did this and I haven't heard back from anyone. It looked like what Stefan worked on, so using Gitbook, was really promising, and we have some internal experience there. So I think what I'm going to do is have a chat with him once he's back from his honeymoon, and then figure out what next steps would be, and I would detail that again on the mailing list to see if anyone would be interested in helping with this. I was just a bit tied up the last weeks, so but I think it would be nice to get this done. I had another action item to review the tutorials and talk to Ben Hall. I haven't done this yet. I will look into this.
That was about Caltacoda.
Yes, that we would take the current tutorials that we have and see how much work it would be to get this set up in Caltacoda. Yes. The next action was for Stefan to talk to Kingdon about presenting the Helm operator at Helm Summit. I don't know if this has happened or not. I guess I can give Stefan a ping also once he's back.
Yeah, cool. But Helm Summit is not that far away now, I don't think. But I don't know.
I just didn't track Slack to see if they had talked about this.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but I think the discussion the last time was that Stefan already had some slides and some talk bits, and he was going to share it. I think that was the general idea. So let's see. All right, I think that was everything. Last time we also talked about the Helm Operator 1.0. Is that something we also want to give a brief update on? What's still missing or how far away it is?
I finished, what was it? I don't even remember.
The number one item on the list that is finished.
I finished the rollback support. Just needs a review. I'm still struggling with the image path kind of thing because the structure it receives is basically impossible to iterate over. I need to take another look whenever I'm finished with the end-to-end test, because the end-to-end test randomly fail at the moment. And I think it's due to the cache informer not syncing. And it seems that Kubernetes just never gives us a response back, and then it hangs indefinitely. I try to check for the cache informer to have been synced on every place we used the informer, and that didn't help. It looked more stable, but after like running it about 50 times, it failed again. So, well, I need to take a deeper dive and see wherever I end up. But that needs to be.
Is it something that was? Is it something that was already the case, or is it?
No, it randomly appeared.
Okay, and I guess because we are relying on that mechanism?
Well, I refactored the whole chart change sync thing to no longer depend on the queue client, and then everything started to get messy, I guess. But I don't see why it would work in the first place, and then after my refactoring it wouldn't work anymore. The only reason I saw was that I didn't check for the cache to be synced in another place, but now that I've changed that, it still fails. So it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's a Kubernetes thing and we are testing against a newer version or something else. What I'm going to try is to take the older release and then run it in our current end-to-end tests and see if it succeeds after running it about 50 times, which will take some time, but there's nothing else I can do. But that really needs to be fixed, and I guess, well, we are still moving forward.
Yeah, I'm sort of cognizant of the fact that I've not been doing a good job of putting more sets of eyes on the Helm operator stuff recently. I think once Fonz is gone and is not producing PRs, perhaps I will have more time to look at Helm operator stuff.
But yeah, that's the update. I mean, we're still moving forward. We have one huge feature left, basically, and one bug, and then it's basically ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was the image format stuff, which you just mentioned, and then there was sort of the
rollback.
Didn't originally plan for, but that turns out to be important, which is the rollback, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice work. Michael, did you have like a general update or anything else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, well, I can summarize the sort of, I guess, roadmap where we are, location, position, which is, I think, the new schedule of having a patch release every 2 weeks. We haven't done a feature release / minor version release yet, but I think we're not in a terrible place to do one next week. Is going all right. It will happen. I think we sort of had 3 or 4 things we wanted to go in it. Maybe not all of those will land in a reasonable amount of time, because they would have to do so, you know, in the next couple of days, really, to spend long enough and to have, for us to have some confidence in them, et cetera, et cetera. But certainly the releases we've made so far, I think, have been quite good, and I'm fairly happy with doing the patch releases every 2 weeks, because it kind of clears the decks. Means that we're not, you know, we can actually say this thing will be in the next release, and that will be, you know, within 2 weeks or next week or whenever it is, which is quite an important thing to be able to say to people, it turns out, especially when there are lots of people counting on this stuff. So, so that's been really good.
Yeah, great job on that.
Yeah.
But my impression was, like, we talked about this, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and since then it's been like a clockwork. Releases went out like every 2 weeks, so good work.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see how the minor release goes. I think one thing we won't have encountered is that we've kind of been holding back some feature PRs so that we don't have to do as much work with the patch releases, and so that may still bite us. It remains to be seen.
Fons, how did the release script work? Because you found something that was basically able to do cherry picks based on milestones, right?
Yeah, but in the end, it required a lot of massaging anyways, right? Because you
course,
needed to
yeah.
know like conflicts, and it wasn't rock solid. What I did found useful was the AEM command with the GitHub command line tool, which lets you cherry pick a full PR. So it's hub space AM and the URL to the pull request, I think. And that cherry picks a full PR with all the commits and everything.
That's useful.
That's super useful.
Mm.
You don't need to cheat to pick single commits. So I think that's very useful. But I mean, we can automate it based on that. I can post the script I ended up using, but in the end, particularly for a patch release in which there were not so many PRs, it was, I mean, in the end, I ended up doing it manually with that command.
Yeah, and cherry pick with picking one of the merge parents would also be not terrible. A bit more work, but yeah, not terrible. I think doing the patch releases means that that pain is sort of amortized over a few releases, because there's we're just not going to get that much stuff done within a 2-week period.
I'll share the file in the Slack channel. It's called listprs.sh, which is a really bad name. All right.
Cool. Last bit of kind of roadmap type stuff. I think once we have done the feature release, there'll be another it'll be another couple of months before the next minor release. So minor version release. So I think we will be spending that time being more consolidating, being more reactive, and fixing stuff and rewriting docs and stuff. I think it's a good time to try and entrench our position.
That sounds good. We should probably also look into writing about the new release and things that have happened.
Oh, yes, yes. Telling people about stuff, that's also good, yes.
Yes, yes.
For sure.
Yeah, let's get together sometime soon, and I'm obviously happy to help with that.
Awesome.
Cool. Peter, did you want to bring up the issue validation thing? Or?
Well, we don't really have an audience, but if Stefan is interested, I can tell him personally. Well, the problem the last days has been that I think it's also due to KubeCon of it. But we have a lot of new users who either run against a wall with common issues, which is maybe due to our FAQ is currently written. But we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not that bad. We have 5 issues outstanding, and all of them require quite some validation work. And we probably need to find a way to speed that up, because the oldest one is from 11 days ago. And it first took some time to gather all the information, and now I need to find time to actually validate this issue, which is also going to take, well, an hour at least. So we either need to ask people to, well, start contributing to validating issues, which is something anyone can do, because it's basically setting up Flux and repeating the steps the user reports, and then saying it also is the case on my machine or it isn't. Yeah, I think that would make us look better in responsiveness and stuff like that.
I could take a stab at updating or contributing document and add something like, if you want to, like, this is a queue of things that need to be done, and one of them is validating these issues, and here's how you get Flux started, and then the next steps, and then also review and see if the rest of the document is still up to date. Then we could, put it into our Slack, pin it there, and send it to the mailing list, and tweet it, blog about it, and do all the other things.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I kind of want to have a, you know how sometimes you sort of click through something and then at the end it says, hey, why don't you, like a call to action. We could, every time someone logs an issue, we could say, hey, why don't you go validate this other issue? That's realistic.
I'll just add, I think that the current docs are pretty good, because over the weekend was the first time I've actually built it and run a custom image of Flux, and the current docs got me most of the way there without any pain. So I guess the only things you could add is like pushing images to your own Docker Hub repo, but that's kind of basic stuff.
Yeah,
that's one of the
troubleshooting.
Yeah. Well, we can do a better job at running Flux on your local host, I guess, because using Git locally is still quite a cumbersome, I guess. It's quite hard to set up. You need to either boot a Git container in your own local Kubernetes instance, or you need to have something else running on your own host. It's just quite interesting for a first timer, I guess. But
I have a kind of a plan for that. In the how is it called? The Flux configuration files design document. There's a section about debugging, and it includes like a very underspecified sketch of using local commands to validate stuff and running Flux against a local file, a local directory.
Oh, right, yes, for kind of linting.
Yeah.
When you change the config, you want to make sure that it's still going to generate a valid config for.
But not only that, validating everything. If you have Helm charts, if you have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of using a Git repo, you could somehow.
Like Flux could generate.
Something like that. Yes.
Whatever's in the directory or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really neat idea. Let's make sure we give Stefan some time to bring up anything he wants to, since he took the trouble of coming along. Is there something you wanted to bring up?
I mostly came to listen, but I brought up the other day of running FluxD as a non-root user. I actually got that working yesterday, so I might circulate.
Oh wow!
Some of that. So I use an init container basically to copy the identity file to another directory and chown it, chmod it. I didn't do the GPG keys and stuff yet. I just wanted to do a quick proof of concept before I sank too much time into it. It runs, it works, so I might circulate it and we can get some feedback on, because we could set it as a configuration option to be, run as non-root, but that would get pretty messy in the Helm chart. So I don't know. There was an issue or a PR from a fair while ago that someone was trying a similar thing, because they just on the principle of not running as a privileged user, which in lots of ways you shouldn't have to. I mean, there's some coincidental hurdles there, but and I don't think there's really any that are. Yeah, so I had to move a few things, like a bunch of stuff was put into /root, which I just put into the home directory, home Flux, and that fixed that up. So it seems it works so far. I'm sure there's edge cases I didn't consider, but I'd be happy to pick those off if you guys can kind of point out where it might break down?
Yeah, let me try and find offline. I'll try and find the that PR from a while ago. Or I
Cool.
think because I don't. Yeah,
Cool. Sounds good.
cool. And then I see that you're in /Flux, so I'll post it there for you.
Yeah, excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot for looking into this.
Is that the reason for your custom builds?
Yeah, I was working on that yesterday.
Oh, cool.
It was just easier for me to just push a container and point it to that with Minikube.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right. Is that all of our agenda?
Yes.
Cool. Maybe we can knock off early then.
Yes. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
See you in Slack.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.